What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in effect. Purple State Party, you know what we're repping here. America, the center, common sense. And this one goes out to anybody who's ever adopted, rescued an animal of any sort, not just a dog or a cat, a bird, a lizard, even a horse. There you go. So, recently celebrated Martin Luther King Day. He's long been a hero of mine. I have him tattooed over here. Not for who he represented, but what he represented. He represented unity. As an American, as a lover of American history, unity, the United States of America, is what's important. Nowadays, Martin Luther King's tactics were peaceful. They were American. They were common sense. They were somewhat center. He talked of Jews and Gentiles, which really spoke to me because I realized that he wasn't just a black civil rights leader. He was a civil rights leader. And that's a big thing that we're missing nowadays. Nowadays, we have calls for violence. We have calls for looting and pillaging and rioting. We allow this to continue. We now have people who are profiting off of the struggles and the problems that we face. But earlier, I gave a shout out to people who rescued animals. These are people, individuals. I know people who rescue birds and lizards. I myself have had several dogs now and cats. I worked at a place that rehabilitated wildlife. These were all things done in the private sector. That's how we make our change. It's through the individuals, not through these groups that collect millions and millions of dollars and then blow it on houses, salaries, cars, hookers and whores and guns and all that shit. No. It's the individual. It's the individual who puts their hand out to join hands, the Jews and the Gentiles, the blacks and the whites. We need to really recognize the fact that people have monetized division and they have monetized hate. And we need to come together. It's pretty simple, eh? Now for some mental irregularities. Chelsea Handler says she didn't know until she was 40 that the sun and the moon are not the same. Okay, we'll rock with that for a second. Oh, what a wicked bitch. I used to watch her show. I used to love it because I don't really care when people make fun of one side or the other. It doesn't really bother me. I like it. But she came out one show and said, I want to make it, clear. I hate Republicans. And, we've been talking about Martin Luther King. I don't hate anything. Maybe Scientologists. But again, I've never knowingly met a Scientologist. So, but anyhow, Chelsea is getting some shows. She's going to be taking over a Daily Show or something like that. So, of course, she's going to say something stupid like this. Oh, she's got a stand-up special, too. Remind me not to watch that. Yeah, fucking idiot. And she's an idiot because, again, she's just so one-sided. When you're so one-sided, you just become propaganda. That ain't cool. Here's one. Again, mental irregularity, saying something that is so should be basically known, but still has to be said. These are billionaires talking. This is talking about that EDF or whatever bullshit that went on in Davos. These billionaires and very, very wealthy people who fly privately to this resort to basically blame the everyday guy for all the trouble in the world. Yeah. Man legally changes gender to help win custody battle, infuriating trans right groups. That's the problem. There's no guidelines. So you're going to have weird wackiness like this happen. Newsom says 95. Okay. Like, really? I mean, it's not really close. I mean, it depends on where you look at it, how you set up the study. I'm sure you can find a percentage of people who, whatever. This is a stupid thing to say. We got better things to do, right? Like, talk about this, the World Economic Forum. Right. Like, we don't have to worry about some big, like, elitist group trying to run the planet. That's what we're up against. They basically want bugs. Yeah. I'm confused on what the hooker represents. Does it say anything on her? No. Idiotic. Gore was there. In 2008, he predicted on German television that the entire North Polar ice cap would be completely melted in 5 to 7 years. The ice cap is still with us 15 years after that statement. In fact, there's more ice now. And it wasn't him making this up. He was quoting scientists. He was quoting models. Look, they don't know. And, a lot of these scientists would have somewhat useless jobs if we didn't have certain problems to solve. So, it's in a lot of people's financial interest to keep this whole green train moving because they're making a lot of money off of it. John Kerry says the quiet part out loud at global warming. Money, money, money. Yeah. But yeah, that's their solution is more money. And the dollars just don't add up. It does not add. You're throwing all this money and it's not working. So what do? You throw more money at it. That kind of philosophy is what drags things down. This was brought up by the guy who wrote the article. Rather than making dubious prophecies and throwing ever more taxpayer money, getting no results, maybe they should deregulate nuclear energy, free up the private sector to develop solutions. Let it grow organically. Let the technology lead the way. That's the only way we're going to get out of this mess is technology, right? So let's let the technologies keep up. There's no way that we're going to get to these goals. And I'm not saying that rooting against it. I'm saying that because the amount of money and effort that needs to be put forth, they haven't put any of it out yet. They've put out 1/16 of what we need. We need to be producing more electricity in California, something like 6 gigawatt or megawatts or whatever. 6 a year, and over the last 3 years, we should add 18, and we have 4. Kerry may believe that saving the planet requires gathering at Davos with a few egotists who share a massive hero complex and who are intent on spending others' tax dollars with abandon. These people have enough money to not care. Congress, they can pass a law, right? Raise taxes. These different government groups can make things more expensive for us. The EPA, whatever. And then turn around and give themselves a raise. Think about that. You have city councils that do that. They raise some sales tax, give themselves some more money. That's what these people do. These people invest in the very energy solutions that they're peddling. So the more solar panels we sell, the more money they make. Whether or not that's the answer or not. Here's one that really illustrates smoke screening and the division of America. Yep, that's right. President Trump's classified documents were the crime of the century, and VP Biden, who should not have been taking paper, by the way, home as a VP, inadvertent mistake. Yeah, you're right. You know what? The Biden documents probably are worse. They probably are. It's probably more of a violation. I don't know. It's not my department. It's not even really my concern. I don't really give a shit about it. But what I do care about, and what I do want to highlight, is just the way it's being set up. That one side is, oh, bad, and the other side is, ooh, good, it was just a mistake. And that just divides us. And nobody's in the middle just kind of saying, why should I care? Why should I care? The border's a mess. Nobody's doing shit. I mean, forget about what they're doing in blue cities. We don't see a lot of action out of red places either. We see a hell of a lot of rhinos in D.C. Whole bunch of people from both sides of the aisle are just wallowing around in that fucking swamp. And you want me to worry about some paper. Here's another one going back to the stupid Davos and some of the shit that they say. Biden links California storm damage to climate change. Okay? Gavin Newsom says California's rainstorms are proof that the climate crisis is real. Except that they're ignoring the fact that there's no evidence that climate change has anything to do with this. This is the way weather in California and the world works. There are strings of drought and torrential rain. All over the world, this happens. All over the world. In 1972, Albert Hammond wrote that song, It Never Rains in California. In reality, it pours. That's what happens here. I've been alive in some of those. I remember one year the rain was so bad, I saw a trash can floating down the gutter, followed by some girl running as fast as she could try to catch her trash can. Yeah, it happens. But we don't prepare for it. We knew this was going to happen. Where's our reservoirs? Where's an attempt by the government? That's what I want the government to do. I want them to build reservoirs. I don't want them to find creative ways of buying votes. I don't want them to profit. I don't want them to push their agenda. I want them to build reservoirs. I want the United States government to make sure that people don't come over here and attack us or around the world, and to secure our borders so every bad thing we can think of comes across. That's what I want. But what they want is they want to worry about renaming some shit because it was named after a Confederate doctor who wrote about the horrors of war. But yeah, he was with the Confederacy, so it's got to go. No, how about you worry about China trying to take over? They just spend enough money and they get stupid shit. Yes, the egg crisis in America is caused by an outbreak. But states like California that set cage-free requirements and no flexibility, we can't get eggs because only 30% of the eggs in America are done cage-free. That's a debate for another day. We need fucking eggs. They're smuggling them across the border. As soon as there's a need, as soon as there's a profit that can be made, right? Smuggling. And what do? Sure. 108% increase in the number of eggs and poultry products seized in U.S. ports right now. Ports of entry. Yeah. $3.40 for a 30-count carton of eggs is a steal in Juarez, Mexico these days. And you just bring them across and you sell them and you make a profit. You don't have to make a lot of money. But the problem is that negates any sort of control that we try to have over our food in terms of, being done at least in a healthy way. We don't know. You're taking a pretty big risk, I would think, buying black market eggs. I'm just saying, I don't know if I want to go that route. Now, I've popped a lot of pills in my day that I did not know what they were, but I do not think I am still the risky child that I once was. So I'm going to pass on smuggled eggs. But, wow. Talking about summing it up in a nutshell. Or would that be an eggshell? How the frick did that end up back there? What the hell? These roaches are everywhere. Here's a little bit of karma, I guess. Teen who received lenient sentence for barreling into mom and baby has been murdered. Oh, brother. Yeah, he was fatally shot in Palmdale. You've seen the video. You can look it up. drives down an alley, swerves to a lady. She lifts up her baby, gets hit by the car. He drives off, and a truck comes forward and clonk, knocks his engine out. And he did like 5 or 6 months in like a juvenile facility. We'll see more on that later. But yeah, he was walking to his grandmother's house out in Palmdale when a red sedan pulled up behind him, and somebody fired numerous shots at him, and he died at the scene. Now, I'm not celebrating this. It is a weird sense of karma. To be honest with you, it is karma. But as we can see here, the mother and child survived. He was 16. He pled guilty to felony charges of assault and hit and run, and he was sentenced to 5 to 7 months in a juvenile camp. And they think he was at Camp Glen Rocky because the camp, had a report the fact that he got disciplined for being in a fight. Before this, he had drugged a girlfriend of his. He gets sent down for 5 to 7 months. It's not enough time. And why it's not enough time? Because when he gets out, he goes out to Palmdale and apparently got into it over a girl and ends up dead. That's on Gascon. Because part of the criminal justice system is the fact that when you get these people, you can do something about it. And more, we don't do anything when they're in jail. And more, they're not in there long enough for us to do anything. Gascon, this kid would still be alive today, guaranteed, if it wasn't for Gascon. Guaranteed, because he'd be in jail. I mean, short of getting shanked in prison, of course, or in jail, or at a camp. But again, there's no rehabilitation in catch and release. If you catch a fish, take him off the hook and throw him back in, you didn't just teach him to breathe air, did you? No, you just caught and released, and that's Gascon's policies. Disclaimer, I don't like Alec Baldwin. I never really did. I never really got him in any of his roles or anything like that. Whatever. He did his Trump thing. I thought it was kind of funny sometimes. Sometimes it was just stupid and mean. Whatever. But, yeah, he fired the gun that killed a woman on the set of the movie Rust. We know that. There it is. He's being charged with, I believe, involuntary manslaughter. I think it says it right here. Look at that. Look at him skills. Boom. But, of course he came out and said he will win. Whatever. But again, you go to the social media, because that's mostly what people do, including myself. We go to social media and we quote other people. Because sometimes people say things that we want to say, and they say it perfectly. Alec Baldwin as an actor is not liable for the death of that poor girl. Alec Baldwin as a negligent producer is 100% liable for that poor girl's death. The dude shot and killed somebody. That's not up for debate. Now, I don't know. How I truly feel about this. He was probably negligent in the way the movie was being produced. I do think he should have checked the gun. I definitely think if I was put in a position like that, I would just dump everything out of the gun, because they were just shooting up. There was no reason to even have blanks in it. So the fact that he even thought that there were blanks in it, again, he should have known that that was dangerous. I don't know. I know that civilly he is responsible. He was the producer. He was the person holding the gun. You have to put that in front of a jury. And it's really hard to say that he's guilty of something when he didn't really know he was about to do it. But he was definitely negligent. And that's the part where this whole case is going to hinge. Now, he's a rich celebrity. So we're going to end up having a trial of the century. I don't know. My guess is they're going to end up settling somehow, because I don't think either side wants this. But lost in all this, remember, somebody was just doing their job. and lost her life. And that's tragic. And that's what we should remember. Harriet Tubman honored with statue of her big left toe. Wow, talk about switching lanes there, eh? Woo, stay in your lane, boy. Wow, we left like girl getting shot in the face to making fun of a horrible statue that they put up for MLK. Yeah, I think just a statue of the man is what you need to remember, people. Because he was one man. And he stood up and he did it the right way and he got results and he got killed for it. Be honest with you, that's what it takes to fix problems. A level head, a good plan, and possibly even dying for the cause. Al Gore again warns the Earth will not make it past the year 2012. They're just buffoons, man. They're just mouthpieces. And you know, when they're paying millions of dollars to scientists and they want certain results, what do you expect? Tell me how man is fucking up the planet and I'll give you $1 million. What do you think the report's going to say? No, it's not. It's the sheep and their methane. Jesus. But it did defense and job performance by reminding everyone he's gay. Yeah, I hope I'm alive to see the day where there are no bonuses given for checking your checkbox. Like Martin Luther King said, the content of their character, that's all that matters. Are they a good worker? Are they doing a good job? It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't matter if he's straight or gay. What matters is he's not doing anything. We have issues of transportation. Our whole switch to green energy is all predicated on transportation. And this guy is like a used Kleenex. It's of no use to anyone. Excuse me. Citing racist history, Harvard bans using the word Harvard. Yeah. NHL player. Hey! Come on, man. Taking shots at me? Nah, I like it. I think it's funny, man. NHL player says if he wanted to support the gays, he'd be playing soccer. See, that's just funny. Nobody should be offended by that because that's fucking hilarious. But in all seriousness, man, they took a shot at my wife with this one. I'm amazed by BaaaaaD. That's why I feature them, because they often sum up the week better than my babble and shit can. But wife spends first 30 minutes of new show Googling where she knows the actors from. We just started a brilliant show, Tulsa King. I actually finished it last night. And yeah, that's what it was. Hey, I know him from here. I know him. And one of them was Sylvester Stallone. You know, mental irregularities. But yeah, if you haven't seen Tulsa King, man, you should. I don't usually give out free plugs, so I want to balance it out, and I want to give out a real free plug that you don't have to pay for. Pluto TV, man, the Mystery Science Theater 3000. They have a whole channel on there 24/7. Yeah, and riff tracks. It's a great way to watch movies, especially old ones, you know, with snarky people. But yeah, check it out. Pluto TV, MST3K, riff tracks. You know, there's a lot of shit there. I don't know why I decided that I wanted to do free plugs for TV today, but you know what? I don't script this stuff, man. I have little notes in front of me, and the rest of it is just a fucking train wreck, and I love you for being on the train with me. Man, I love it. I'd love to hear from people, man. I would love to see more subscribers. I would, because I enjoy doing this, and I hope, you know, I hope maybe I make a little bit of a difference. So I started the show talking about Martin Luther King and his message of unity. Well, that's not in people's best interest anymore. Politicians, media groups, all of these elite people, they need us in little groups, well-defined groups, so they know who to target. They've identified it. You got the right sheep, you got the left sheep, and you got the sheep. Obviously, the right-wing sheep just does anything that the right does, and left, and vice versa. But then you have the sheep. You have the people who don't pay attention, the people who don't want to read about topics. You have the people who all you have to do is spend a lot of money on TV ads, and you can get your proposition or your shitty politician or your shitty DA. You can get your shit co-signed because these idiots don't read both sides. Sheep don't read both sides. Sheep go out into a field and go, bah, and eat grass. Don't be a sheep. I'm not a sheep, neither are you. I'm Kid Copious, I'm Purple State Party, and so are you. Peace, y'all. Dollar bills. Ooh.